Hello, I'm Julia Bushkova, and today we have an exciting moment. We are continuing to look through Violin Concerto number 5. We, meaning myself, of course, and Alette Williams. So this time we're going to start from the top, as they say, and we will start from the beginning and go through certain interesting moments here. So the concerto is a one-movement concerto. It is very important to remember. Okay, it's written in such a way that we cannot perform any kind of first movement. We sort of call a second movement a slow part. We call it second movement because we want to be to be a second movement. But in fact, of course, it should be played all one through. How does it start? It's a very, very interesting start. So first, what happens? Of course, we are not the first ones to play, right? What's there before us?
There are half notes in the accompaniment.
Half notes in the accompaniment. Okay, so Alette refers...
Actually, I guess it's like the melody, the theme.
Okay, yes, because it depends on what we violinists, of course, we only know several notes right before our entrance, right? Don't we? Just, that's the most important thing. A lot of times we don't know how the whole orchestral, not even introduction, it's actually how the piece starts. Here it actually starts with the theme that you will later will be playing the cadenza. So in other words, the orchestra plays. But not in this actually character, like I do more like it usually is in Cadenza, but in Allegro non troppo, so it's more upbeat and it's kind of, it's serious, right? So it starts from there and orchestra introduces several themes, but not all of them. That's very interesting, cool thing about here. And then right before we enter, there are quite, reflecting or soft, descending half notes in the orchestra. All right, so for us also with the piano. Then what do? Now we have our 3 rising phrases. Alette, would you please show us how they sound?
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, that would be leading, of course, to the upper G, lower G sharp. Anyway, so these 3 phrases. What is when Alette plays it? That's we already kind of sculpted them, so to speak, right? At first, what I noticed as a teacher, usually what happens, people play them completely evenly. So there's no development between them. That, of course, should be there because what do? They start from reflection onto what maybe we heard in the orchestra, because orchestra sort of evaporates before us, right? Then second one becomes more exciting. Third one takes us to the climactic upper D, right? So remember what we discussed in the very first one. What normally a lot of people do, they discount the fact that orchestra is allegro ma non troppo in half notes right before us, before our entrance. And then they interpret our 8 notes as quarter notes. So a lot of times in auditions everywhere I will hear that basically in that tempo as the quarter notes, and they are not. They're 8 notes. So a little bit of rubato like you did, great. Let's do it again one more time and show how things move. Yes, very nice. So that is a good demonstration of emotion. Perhaps I won't be doing such big crescendo, honestly. I would keep it in piano, a little bit more withdrawn and little more mysterious. Now, the second one has crescendo. Now, also for the people who have other additions, you will see that Alette is playing more slurs on the bow than is in the score. Is only 3 notes slurred. That's your choice. That's interpretation. Then the second one, you can either play all separate already, or we choose to do 3 slurs, right? Let's do the second one, where you do crescendo. And third one. Okay, so that's our arrival note. We always look for the arrival note and we build everything to the arrival note. Well done. Then after this, the passage that goes down, right, which you kind of played and then you kind of stop. Maybe here, if you are comfortable, do the third one, go up and go to the down to the chords.
Like
Start from me, E.
oh.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you could do that because you can't say ta ya. If you're doing it not just E probably, but E and F will be your beginning of the rubato. Or you could also try to do this ta 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 without rubato. I prefer rubato, it's true, but you can try either way. Okay. Yeah, and go on. Die. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's important. Remember, we did talk about this. All of that, all the chords are rising to that E. First to that E with sforzando, then F with sforzando, and landing on the lower E. And again, what happens a lot of times now, let's demonstrate what you used to do before last week. Also, very lyrical arrivals. Remember how you ignore those sforzandis, and again, a lot of people do. Show it from the beginning of the chords, from G sharp.
The old way?
Yeah, the wrong way. Now she'll play the wrong way. Yeah. You see, energy was gone, everything was going somewhere, it didn't go. And by the way, Alette, thank you very much. You also demonstrated another wrong thing, probably intuitively, just kind of like, okay, I'll go back a bit. So this time, Alette did not vibrate the beginning of the chords either. Payam, payam. Of course, the time before when she played it for real, she did. And you should do too. Vibrato on the beginning of the first notes, on the bass notes of the chords. Then arrival, another arrival, and then ta, and then it leads you to this kind of very expressive thing. Important thing. Well, let's do this from the E, the third E, so the fourth E. Mm-hmm. Correct.
Do
That's
with
all.
crescendo.
Oh, just yeah. We do whichever you like here. Exactly. So we're actually. I was waiting for how she will finish this, and go to the what we first have now as a first motif or first theme. That would be right here. So in our vernacular, we call this all introduction, and then now we arrive to the first theme. Of course, it's not really the first theme, or main theme, because there are so many themes in here that we don't have names for them. But nevertheless, pause a little bit time to start it is a good idea. So a lot of times people struggle through this and they feel compelled. Oh my God, there's only one eighth note. Of course not. So you finish this big phrase and you go to the theme. Of course, you breathe there and allow yourself a little bit of time. Now, what you did right now for the ta, what if we don't do anything special? Keep being in forte and now do arrival onto the C as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do, right? Not aggressively, but basically lead into the C right now. You see why it doesn't happen right now? Because if you start with that much sound right away, you cannot possibly top it on the next notes. Why?
Because it's the G string, and the G string
Because it
the,
is G string up high. And how many notes per bow? Always look for how many notes per bow you have. You have 4 notes per bow, or 1 beat on the bow. Ta, three beats here. Ta ra ra ram, 1 beat. And then you have 2 beats. Ta ra 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 ta ra ra ram. All right. There's no way if we fully open 1 beat on the bow with big sound that we can top it on the next 2 beats on the bow. It's just impossible to do on violin, especially in a high register. So what's the issue? What you can do here? Maybe not do such a big crescendo. So you arrive here, and then do a little bit of diminuendo, then do crescendo again to the C. No, but you have to first land. Remember how you played the 2 notes before? Mi, big, and here I feel big. Exactly, and then you will start the theme. So, in other words, what we found out by this experiment, that your upper C, it cannot be very strong. It will not sound very strong. So some people do what you did first time, which is kind of changing the character into it, or we change a character at the end of the long E. So those are the 2 choices, because the upper note has no way to be very powerful. Okay, so let's go to a next interesting spot, and that would be a very short, small thing, interpretative thing. Let's go to the F sharp major on our next page. Yeah, go, go, go. And then G. Yeah, that G has a sforzando there, right?
oh, yeah.
Yeah, tam, pam, pam. So yeah,
Sorry.
so in some ways, it's okay. That's why we're doing these videos. We're learning, and we're showing you how we're doing this. Okay, so that spot. First of all, I know you can play it all through and without stopping. But the most important interpretatively thing is what to do with those F sharps. So you repeat a lot, you do your scale up, and then you have F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, and then G. So right now you see they sit there by themselves and they don't have any meaning. Why did he write them? I believe that those are things that are pushed forward to that change of the key here. So the change happens on the G's. Your goal is to push it through. With orchestra, of course. Orchestra plays where you have a rest, right? Forward. Don't just stop there. Okay, I arrived. Okay, you see what I mean? Let's do just the ending of it. Maybe when you start climbing up from there. Correct. Now, the only thing that I would do differently is not to do a little bit articulation on that. I believe there, I don't know, there should be a dot there, but if not, there should be yam pam pam, tam pam, more bow. Yeah, so your goal is to arrive to this. And then it's a long note, and we are on that everything releases. Orchestra plays also kind of goes away. You're alone, and then you make a transition to the next theme. Okay. Now, what about ta 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 ta? Technically, you're playing it really well, but right now you see there's not excitement enough to push forward. So, in other words, even though you're loud, still think crescendo. And that crescendo means only you can use a little bit more bow as you just physically work a little bit more. Okay, and then through the F's into the G, then that would be good. Okay, so now we will go to our next chosen spot, or my chosen spot. You don't know which spot it is, but that would be the ending of the first solo after the trills. Trills start in 178, and what I would like you to actually to show is 188. It's a descending cascade of notes. So, but you could start, of course, a bar before, a couple bars before, whichever you like. All right, that particular thing. Okay, so my request number one will be by the end, da, 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 as the passage goes down. Of course, it does get kind of diminuendo on its own, right? Because of the strings, basically. We're going lower strings, but don't reduce the bow so much.
Okay.
One more time. If you can start from there already, it will be great. Or, yeah, from B. Correct. So what you want to do is to stay a little bit lower. So you're getting into that part of the bow. Just couple inches downward. I think will be more comfortable. Do the trills before. One more time. Yeah, it's by the end where you need this, not the beginning. At the beginning, you're perfectly fine wherever you end up. Da 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 da. It's by the right there. Yeah. So find a comfortable place. You know what? Go to the second bar. Go to the second measure of it. Yeah, and just do it from there. Yeah. It's like your B doesn't respond because correct. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you here's wood, the wood is too thin, so it's better to grab it. Correct. You know, and then you practice that, right? Then the chords. Now, show everybody how you practice. What's the difficulty there? Not obviously the beginning of the chords. Beginning is very easy, right? Correct. You practice the octaves, right? And then what happens? When does the octave stop? Show me the last bar of that. From the already you're on the G, on the octave of G. Yeah. Correct. And now last one. Correct. Correct. So, so what do we have there? We have octave, 10, and the strange animal we don't even name. And then there is a squiggly line there, says play it arpeggiated, because they want to save your hand from stretching maybe too much. Although there's not much stretching. Do this again. Let's show the people the G and then the B, just the octaves, the upper G. Correct. Here in the B. And the last one. So it's a fourth over an octave, right? So can you reach it? Yeah, of course you can. So you don't have to worry. Everybody can reach it because that distance here, you see that distance, it's actually still smaller than what we normally play in the lower position as a regular tenth. It's much smaller. It's just the angle of the arm in the hand is weird, and therefore we think, oh my God. But that's why also he does put that squiggly line, which means arpeggiated. But for your convenience, you know, your comfort, feel them both there, then take it off and then vibrate and play that note longer, basically. Yeah, don't need to play them together. No, it's just a feel. It's just a feel. You do play separate notes there. Very good. Yes, and then here on this upper note, just stay there with vibrato. Yes, the glorious upper notes that to us at least sound very glorious, and then and definitely arrive first fully onto that C. Upper note tam still leads to the bottom C, right? The C is not less than the upper note. And now, last but not the least, we will do a couple spots from the cadenza. Interesting thing about the beginning of the cadenza that there is F sharp written by Vieuxtemps in the music, and meanwhile most people, or recordings and all, using F natural. We are also decided to use F natural as the thing that starts the very beginning of the concerto. The orchestra plays F natural, plays exactly that tune. F sharp is used somewhere by Vieuxtemps, is true, but the cool feature here, if you start as the beginning of the whole piece, then you end by raising it to the F sharp in the beginning, in the end of the cadenza, sorry, and it kind of makes a very nice shape to it. That's what we think, that's what I think, that's what most people in the recording thought. So that's what we do. You don't need to play that beginning, actually, it just was a bit of trivia, but we will go to something important in the cadenza. Why don't we do from the connection between the chordal portion of it to the trills. The trill is really our goal. And I think I would like you to start from them with that rise to just settle yourself in. All right. So yeah, cadenza has been worked much less here, in our lessons. So first of all, I would not like you to do any diminuendos, because it makes again everything in sort of one after another, and we want the whole big line. What does this section do? It connects what was before to what's after. So don't have to be faster, just have to do crescendo. Okay. So let's do it one more time. Correct. And so what again was good, because perhaps you had more motion, more direction, correct? So then you come to the A sharp is only 1/4. Tom, pom, you go to the G really here. A sharp, I've already heard it many times too. So G, you know what I saw? I saw the very cool thing, that G, when this G is played on G string.
Oh.
Yes, I just saw it last night. Yes. Care to try?
No.
No? Oh, come on. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty amazing, right? Well, okay, we probably won't do it, but honestly, the person who did it, it was pretty breathtaking. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But he's known of doing very daring things. Alexander Markov is his name. Yeah, very, very unique performer also. So yeah, I was like, wow, I've never seen it before, never heard it before. It was very effective. Okay, but no, we will stay with the way we usually do it. It's important, and then it goes to the trills, right? So now show us from A sharp, tom, pom, and into next one. And then we're segueing into the other thing. Yes, okay, so that, well, it is better. Now, what are the problems or challenges rather in here? Of course, is to keep the trill as even as possible, while we are changing other fingers in uncomfortable situations on D string, right? So this time Alette tried bowings that are not written, so to have more connection. In fact, it's written all separate. So now let's try the separate bows one more time, right from there, from the first trill. Yeah, you see, by the way, because you practiced with slurs, now it's much more even when you change bows. And that is again the idea of practicing. When you need to connect something better, practice it on slurs. But can we do it now in piano? Yeah, as the line will go, tom, will be diminuendo, ta, 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 and so forth. Okay, so I would leave it up to you and up to you, Alette, to decide whether you would like to. I kind of like it on slurs if we want to connect. That's really, I think it's easier, but you can also do this way. The main thing is to start with piano and then do gradual crescendo. Okay. And so by now again, so with Alette, do you remember how you first started doing this? Did you do any exercises for that to have that even motion, or not really, or you just did it more by ear?
I just played it without the trill.
Without trill? Well, yeah, that's a good idea. Show us. So it's much closer than we otherwise would want to do, right? Yes, good. Stop here. Stop here. Don't move anything. You see what right now actually is better in your hand, that your hand is lower. It is lower on the lower, meaning from here to there. By the way, right now without trill. When you play with the trill, you sometimes rise up and things get more complicated. Okay, it's it's much better for if you have a medium to like more or less normal to bigger hand, stay more below. Okay, regular, you have like basically a regular size hand. It's much easier. Okay, and now if you use it, add the trill there with the same position. Basically, what we're also looking at, sometimes, like that last interval when it's too big of a change. Usually, everybody takes a bit of time in there. That's okay. But in general, we want to get as even as possible. So to practice evenness for those who need it, I would suggest first in duplets and then in triplets. See what I mean? So that just to make sure that it all is, you can change fingers exactly on time. So you might want to do it in some difficult portions, just only there, because otherwise it works. Okay, then last portion are those chords at the end. Ta 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 ta. You can start from the chords before, the ones that are on string, and then before you go to off string. Right, and maybe from those.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so right in here, I would like you to only play the upper voice right now, no chords. Ta 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 ta. That line. Can you play without chords? Exactly. And maybe not that fast with chords, but the idea of phrasing should be the same. When you play with chords, it sounds more ta 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 ta. There's nothing in the middle that is either connecting or making a shape. Okay. Play it slower. One more time, just the upper voice. Very nice. Okay, now play it with the chords, the same sounding, trying to sound the same way. No. Da, ya, da. Okay, and now you have my permission to play the chords the same exactly way. Pick up to the chord. Exactly. Do you hear how it goes that way then? Just like what you played in separate, in just one upper voice. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Now without those big breaks, but thinking the same way. The first one was very good, and the next one was maybe a little ambiguous before the D. D also belongs to the next chord. Correct. And now that again will be next. Yeah, you can just, okay, I did this, the next one, the repeat, right? Exactly the same way. Yes, and then there is intonation and there is this overall comfort, but please practice it that way. Because, yeah, we need to fix that thing for sure. Otherwise, that whole section sounds really like, pretty much I call it, let me out of here. Which is probably what our listeners right now want to do. They want to be out of here, out of that whole Vietnam business. We had enough. Okay, oh yes, and the shoulder rest, of course. When the shoulder rest falls, it invariably means one thing, the lesson is over. That's what it means in the room 325. It all knows. Okay, so, and in fact, yes, we're done. We will go by its lead and say, everyone, we hope it has been helpful, that you have stayed with us all this time. If you did, oh, maybe we'll have some extra material after we finish. But anyway, please like if you did, subscribe to this channel, and Alette and I will see you all later.